Good morning, all of you. Myself, Dr. Shobha Singh, Assistant Professor, History. The title of today's topic is Administration of Delhi Sultanate. In the we will first study the Caliphate system. There are various ways of accepting recognition of Caliph. They are granting of robes of honor, letter of investiture, bestowing of titles, having the name of three Caliph inscribed on coins, reading of khutbah in Friday prayer in his name. All these activities symbolized acceptance and a link with the Islamic world. The Sultans of Delhi maintained the fiction of the acceptance of the position of. Next, the nature of the Delhi Sultanate. The Turkish state in India was militaristic and aristocratic. In formal sense, the state was Islamic. The sultans were keen to emphasize the Muslim character of the state and to follow the holy law that is known as Sharia as far as possible. This also meant not allowing any open violation of the Islamic law. They appointed Muslim divines to profitable offices of state and granted revenue-free lands to many of them. However, the sultans did not allow the Muslim divines to dictate the policy of the state. The sultans had to supplement the Muslim law by framing their own regulations, and these are known as jawabit, or these are also called as secular regulations. In practice, the Turkish state was not theocratic but evolved according to its special needs and circumstances, despite the fact that main ruling class professed Islam. Next, we will study the central administration. In the central administration, the head was Sultan. The Sultan's office was the most important in Sultanate, and supreme political, military, and even legal authority was vested in him. He was responsible for the safety and security of the state. As such, he was responsible for administration and was also the commander-in-chief of the military forces. He was also responsible for the maintenance of law and justice. Bundy says that Balban stressed the special position of the Sultan as shadow of God, Jille Allah, on the earth. Balban emphasized courtly splendor, decorum, and etiquette. He also believed in severe exemplary punishments even to the nobles. All this bore relevance to a situation where the throne was never safe from the ambitions of nobles, many of whom felt that they had an equal right to rule. There were many other officials to look after the royal household. They are Vakil Dar. He looked after the entire household and disbursed salary to Sultan's personal staff. Another one is Amir-e-Hazib. He is functioned as the master of ceremonies at the court. All petitions to the Sultan were submitted through Amir-e-Hazib. Next important office is Wizarat, or we can say it Diwan. The officer in charge of this is known as Wazir. He is responsible for collection of revenue, and he is as a head of Diwan-e-Wizarat was the most important in central administration. He was one of the most important. He was one of the four most important departmental heads. He exercised a general supervisory authority over others. The Wazir organized the collection of revenue, exercised control over expenditure, kept accounts, disbursed salaries, and allotted revenue assignments. These are known as Iktas and Sultan's order. There were several officers who helped the Wizarat. They are as Mushrif-e-Mumalik, or Accountant General, and Mustafi Momalik, and he is known as Auditor General. The next important department is Diwan-e-Aris, or officer in charge of this department is known as Aris Mumalik. The Aris Diwan-e-Aris or military department was headed by Aris Mumalik. He was responsible for administration of military affairs. He inspected the troops maintained by the Ikta holders. He also supervised the commissionary duties and transport of sultans' army. During the reign of Alauddin Khilji, some measures were introduced to maintain a check on the recruit and quality. He ordered a descriptive roll of every soldier to be kept and also ordered the branding of horses, that is also known as dag, to be done so that the horses of the poor quality were not brought by the amirs or ikta holders to the muster. It seems that the branding of the horses was strictly maintained till the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The army consisted of troops maintained by nobles as well as the standing army. These are known as Hashme-Kalb of the Sultan. The next important department is Diwan-e-Insha. Diwan-e-Insha is State Correspondence Department, and officer in charge is also known as Insha-e-Mamalik. He dealt with all correspondence between the Sultan and other rulers and between Sultan and provincial governors. Next important office is Diwan-e-Barid, and this is the state news department, and Barid-e-Mumalik was the head of this department. He had to keep information of all that was happening in the Sultanate. The administrative subdivisions had local Barids who sent regular newsletters to the central office. The Barids reported matters of state, war, rebellions, local affairs, finances, the state of agriculture, etc. Other than Barids, another set of reporters existed were known as Munihans. Next department is Diwan-e-Risalat. Diwan-e-Risalat dealt with religious matters, pious foundations, and stipends to deserving scholars and men of piety. It was presided over by the chief Sadr, who was generally a leading Qazi. He was generally also the chief Qazi. The chief Qazi was the head of the Department of Justice. Qazi were appointed in various parts of the empire, particularly in those places where there was a sizable Muslim population. The Qazi dispensed civil law based on Muslim law Sharia. The Hindus were governed by their own provincial laws, which were dispensed by panchayats in the villages and by the leaders of the various castes in the cities. Criminal law was based on regulations framed for the purpose by the rulers. Thank you.